What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering. Apparently, I have passed away. I've passed away, and it's She-Hulk's fault, at least according to a new article floating around, and I absolutely love it. I think that this kind of stan culture versus actual fan culture is interesting, fun, and provides a lot of entertainment. Now, in general, I would argue that the stan culture is defeating the actual fan culture because we get shows like She-Hulk, where we have Megan the Z Stallion, another replaceable one-trick pony in rap, and now apparently the Kardashians are angling to be on the show, which I think would be, oh god, just absolutely amazing. It's what every young girl wants to see out there in terms of a role model. Yeah, apparently YouTuber The Quartering is found passed away due to the twerking in She-Hulk. That's right. There's a lot of She-Hulk news coming out today, and I think it's pretty interesting. We're going to get into all that after a quick word from this video sponsor. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Meta PCs. Look, you've been around, you know that I've been talking about Meta PCs for a very long time. In fact, it's the primary computer I use. But it's not just because they're a sponsor. It's for so many more reasons. They have fully customizable, configurable PCs and all the hardest to find parts in stock and ready to go. They also have ready to ship PCs ready for you today. Here's a couple reasons why I like Meta PCs. First and foremost, it's veteran ownership. Meta PCs is a veteran-owned business. One of Meta's owners has served both in Afghanistan and Iraq and received a Purple Heart for his service. Meta also employs military veterans in Meta's operations center and also provides systems to veterans going back to school to help them re-enter the workforce all across the United States. They offer financing. It has 100% US-based sales and support. And when you receive your PC, it's ready to go right out of the box. You don't have to get complicated and set things up. You just plug it all in and you're ready to rock. And on top of that, Meta PCs is offering you, my viewer, a huge discount when you use the link in the description or you use promo code TheQuartering. If you use my code at checkout, not only do you save money, but you support my content and a company that will not bow to cancel culture. So maybe you're not ready to pick up a new computer today, but when you are, remember to go to metapcs.com and use promo code TheQuartering to support me and to save money. And everybody wins. Hey, Meta stood by me through thick and thin, through cancellation attempts and more. It's the tower I'm on right now. It's the tower my office employee uses. It's the laptop I use. So when you're ready, remember that promo code. YouTuber The Quartering found due to twerking in She-Hulk. Seattle, Washington. A coffee salesman and internet commentator known as The Quartering was found no longer alive in his Wisconsin home over the weekend. Sources claim the content creator was discovered on Saturday night after neighbors complained to Localpedia about hearing loud music coming from the residents. Correspondent Ken Morris was able to contact the neighbor who tipped off the authorities for a quick interview about the unfortunate event. The neighbor had asked to remain anonymous. Quote, yeah, I was about to light up a fat bowl when I kept hearing body yaddy yaddy coming from the Quartering's house. I love the Megan Thee Stallion. That's why it interrupted me. Because I was like, hold up, this song goes hard. No way this dude is for real bumping that stallion. And I went over to the Quartering's house, you know, because I was going to like invite him to take a huge rip off this fat effing bowl and vibe to some Meggie. But when I looked through his window, he was watching She-Hulk and they were shaking that A on the screen. And the Quartering was completely unclothed and had his hand on himself. The shaking kept playing on repeat over and over again. I guess he was just dead like that. I think he was so hot for it that he didn't survive. Photographed a stallion. According to Wisconsin's finest medical professionals, parentheses, I call them heroes, it's too early to say if the Quartering had gone to heck because of his arousal. The death of the man aside, I think it's more important to point out that She-Hulk's twerking scene is being misused. Now, all of this is obviously hilarious satire. I think it's funny. But now here's, I think, where they try to make a real point, and it's funny to me. It was being used through the discourse. Though the discourse would have you believe differently, She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion's sisterly moment of pee poppin' wasn't intended to be fat fodder supplied by the male gaze, or a feminist feast of direct-to-streaming empowerment. The twerking was meant to accurately represent what lawyers do every day. Lawyers are the backbone of Western society, and yes, they shake what their birthing person gave them. My uncle was a lawyer, and he'd shake it every night, right after Jeopardy. There's a long history of lawyers twerking, but I'm not going to do that emotional and mental labor for you by explaining any of it. Go fire a journalist if you want to know so bad. I'm not sure why my uncle was at my house every night. Shout out to Veeg, the web show. Good satire. But on top of that, interesting news about the viewership and the reaction to the show. She-Hulk viewers gleefully react to episode 3, calling out toxic Marvel fans. She-Hulk attorney at law got a good joke in at fans who are upset with female superheroes, and many audience members are happy with the joke. In the latest episode, She-Hulk attorney at law, she got in a good laugh at toxic Marvel fans, and the viewers are loving it. Ever since She-Hulk Attorney at Law was announced at D23 in 2019, some audience members reacted negatively to the news in the same way that they did the announcement of Jane Foster as Thor, both in the comics or movies, of the announcement of all-woman Ghostbusters in 2016, which sucked. Some believed it was an attempt to pander to modern audiences, even though She-Hulk as a character has existed since the 80s. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone thought She-Hulk didn't exist. I think most of the reaction was like, we knew that it was going to be like men bad, and that's exactly how it's turned out. She-Hulk Attorney at Law had faced negative criticism from toxic Marvel fans. But again, any negative reviews from somebody who's toxic. And the review brigade before a single episode ever even aired. And look, hey, just so I'm clear here, as always, 100% agree. Sites should not allow reviews before the show airs. I'm actually not like inherently against shows having like 72-hour wait window. I'm not against review sites having some way to try and verify that people actually watch the show. You want to know why I feel that way? Is because I don't believe that all the negative reviews are just coming from trolls or toxic fans. I believe that much of the actual, yes, there are people who are just 1 out of 10ing it without ever seeing it. But there are also people who are 10 out of 10ing it without ever seeing it. I would prefer if both groups were not allowed to leave reviews. I just think that, you know, my problem with the review brigading narrative is that they always forget that, you know, it's two-sided. That there's absolutely blind people and bots that do 10 out of 10s. Now, from Toxic Owners that was review brigaded, there was a similar tactic used against both Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. I don't think anyone really cared about Miss Marvel. I mean, there was not a controversy around the show. Nobody watched it, except for, you know, in regards to huge numbers. I think I made like 1 or 2 videos about it. She-Hulk is earning a video every week, and that's saying something. In a lot of ways, I'm happy we're back to weekly episodes because it gives us a couple of ongoing storylines, whether it's She-Hulk, Rings of Power, you know, House of the Dragon isn't really ruffling any feathers. People seem to just be ignoring it. It's still on my watch list, but sometimes I like to just wait till a season's done and then binge it. Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, She-Hulk Attorney at Law got a good laugh at the outrage in the 3rd episode, The People versus Emil Blonsky. The one scene shows how people react to She-Hulk and the MCU being in the same world as the reworld, complaining about how they took the male hero and gave it to a woman, and how they just make a new hero, and they should just make a new hero. See, this is one of the very, like, annoying things. That is a legitimate thing that not only have I said, but other fans have said. But people did not say that about She-Hulk because we all knew that She-Hulk already existed. And when you look at She-Hulk viewership, it's actually pretty high. It gets a lot of social media buzz. I think it's cringeworthy. But like I've said since Jump Street, the show's not for me. And that's 100% okay. it doubled Miss Marvel's audience. Now, I think that, Miss Marvel audience was not great. Samba TV reported that 1.5 million US households in the live plus 3 window, that's the day it went live plus the next 3 days, watched the premiere episode of She-Hulk. 1.5 million. That's pretty good considering House of the Dragon had 4.5 million. And the Rings of Power also had close to 1.5 million. Now, again, Samba TV is the only people here in the United States, and it's not everybody, it's just a sample size. You see, Rings of Power has She-Hulk level viewership ratings. I don't think that's probably better for She-Hulk than it is for the Rings of Power. So I hope that we get more and more cringe from She-Hulk. I hope that the Kardashians get on there. You can see for comparison, here's a 5-year premiere. You had WandaVision at 1.6 million. So it close to WandaVision, below Falcon and the Winter Soldier, well below Loki. What If was terrible, but only had 1 day. It had the same as Hawkeye, fewer than Moon Knight, and Miss Marvel was a disaster with 775,000. So I don't think comparing yourself to the worst performing show in the MCU is really that good. But at 1.5 million, it puts it on par with Hawkeye, which was a forgettable show. WandaVision, which started out really good, but just completely fell apart. And Loki just was, that was a surprise hit for me. Like, maybe it's because you had Owen Wilson in there and people were more interested in it. I just didn't think Loki was that popular of a character, but it crushed it. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Miss Marvel, with 700,000 probably underperformed, but She-Hulk is definitely doing better than expected. So I wonder what tricks are up their sleeves going forward. Hopefully ending off my character arc isn't one of them. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.